Good afternoon. My name is Abbie Calicut. Have you ever wondered why people tend to say the quality over quantity matters more in life, and when it comes especially to those you surround yourself with? At one point or another in our lives, we've all experienced people that aren't meant to be in our lives or that weren't good for us for any particular reason, or people that were just around for the good parts. In the last decade or so of my life, friends have always been something that I've valued, especially having a numerous amount so that I can, sorry, so that I could, because I always wanted people to like me and to be friends with me. Then as I got older, I started to realize that that wasn't as important, and it started to really toll on me. Um, so to begin my speech, I wanted to start off with the Aesop fable, The Vixen and the Lioness. The story, which is told from Aesop's fable that was found on aesopsfable.com, it starts off with a vixen, also known as a fox, went out on a walk with her babies when she ran into a lioness and her cub. The vixen began to question why the lioness was so protective over her cub. And as they walked past each other and moved on about their day, the lioness ended with a comment that said, "I may only have one, but mine is a lion and yours are merely foxes." To sum up this fable, we learn that just because someone has more of something does not necessarily mean that it is automatically better, and that the value of something holds a deeper weight than the quantity of it. Now that I've retold the story, I'm going to share an experience of my own. It really started to, this lesson really took a toll on me at the start of high school. I had just finished my freshman year and had people that I had lived with and grown up with that saw me throughout my whole childhood. I found out that I was moving. So sophomore year, I moved to Moore County, and I started Union Pines. And when I got there, I was very shy and reserved, and it was such a big change because this school was absolutely huge compared to my last one. And so that first year, I spent it primarily to myself and stayed alone. And then when moving on to junior year was really when I started to consider the fact that I didn't want to spend high school by myself. So moving on to junior year, once it started, I realized I needed to be a little more confident. The few people that I had spoke with here and there in sophomore or freshman year, sophomore, I realized that we had some classes together, and I decided to be a little bolder, and I began to talk to them more, and started gaining friends quickly through people that they knew and people that I had begun to know. And I finally got what I thought I always wanted, and felt very, I wasn't afraid to go to class. I wasn't afraid to present as much because I knew pretty much everyone in there. So junior year ended primarily on a good note, and then when I got to senior year, it was amazing. I only had a few classes, and the few classes that I did have, knew everybody in there. And towards the middle of sophomore year or senior year, it people really started showing more of why they were around, and showed that they weren't there for the good parts, and distance began to start over disagreements and arguments. But I still kept in touch with some of them, and still graduated surrounded by people. And then when summer hit, I had a lot of big changes going to college, just everybody going their own separate ways. And the only way that we stayed connected was social media. And after that, I realized after school, after my first semester of college started, it really started to show that nobody really cared. Or, I mean, we all had our own stuff going on. And at that moment, I realized that I needed to delete some social media to clear out people that it was just basically a chore to keep up with. And so doing that, it made me realize how refreshing it was to have the few people that continuously checked in on me and that I could check in on. And after that, this whole past 6 months or so have been amazing by not worrying about these other people that haven't been involved, and my life has become so much less stressful with worrying about it. And now that I have shared my story and how it connects with the lioness and the vixen, I wanted to say that after learning this and living this lesson myself, it has shown just how truly you can have everything that you thought you always wanted in life, the numerous amounts of friends, food, whatever it is, and it does not matter as much as just a few good things in your life that really show you how important it is. And at the end of the day, the choice is yours to make, and you have to be willing to understand how important it is to find the value in things rather than the amount of things. A quote by Allison G. Bailey, who's a best-selling author, in the book Present Perfect, is she stated, "Friends, it's not the quantity, but the quality that matters. You will meet a lot of people throughout your life. Not everyone will be your friend, and that's okay." Thank you.